For that, we welcome you, KL Prashantji at ACAE, and we would start this session with our ICAI motto song. One second.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्द्वैता
Thank you, friends. And friends, today, the last day of the month and the last day of the year, we are talking about two important aspects of the CA profession. Number one, how to automate the office, how to get future ready. Number two, how to abide by code of conduct, because we have been listening for last few days that code of conduct will become more important as the disciplinary committee will have 3 non-CA members and 2 CA members, and the chairperson of the disciplinary committee will be non-CA member. So we can say that he or she will go by the book and will not deviate or understand the practical difficulty which we face. So we have to learn the code of ethics line by line and understand, decrypt it, and then follow it. Whether it's social media, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn post,
मैं सेमिनार में हूँ, तू लोग मेरा पीछा कब छोड़ेगा?
So friends, we have with us CA KL Prashant, and he will be taking the first session. A bit about ACAE. ACAE is an organization which is 62 years of age, and the study circle is around 18 years of old. And we at ACAE always plan session which empower you and try to become your digital learning association. So I request our co-chairperson of Corporate Allied Laws Committee, Mayur Agarwalji, to formally introduce Prashantji, and then to Prashantji to take over the session. Mayur, over to you.
Thank you so much, President. Good evening, all. My privilege to introduce Mr. KL Prashant. Mr. KL Prashant is a chartered accountant with 19 years of experience. He is a Bachelor of Commerce from Bangalore University, Diploma in Information System Audit, and certified under the International Taxation course conducted by ICAI. CA Prashant is Partner Taxation and Research Team at Gru & Jana. He has worked in Finance and Taxation at UB Group of Companies and headed a Central Monitoring Team at Arvind Group of Companies. He has co-authored books on international taxation and GST. CA Prashant has been a speaker at ICAI and other professional forums. We welcome you to ACAE, sir, and I would request you to kindly go ahead with your deliberation.
Thanks a lot, Mayur. Thanks a lot, Mr. Vivek. As I said earlier, truly it is a pleasure that I am addressing the members at the ACAE. So it is really a fortunate thing. So today, I understand the role of my presentation is to make you understand what are the possibilities of office automation. So as the topic itself is office automation, we have to understand it is not about filing of the tax returns. or filing of the GST returns. So that, as it is, all of us are already masters. So all of us know how the website works, how the portal works, so how the income tax and GST works, all that all of us are aware. Of course, we will keep aside the issues and the problems that we are facing in the income tax portal for time being. We will not discuss about that. But let us discuss more about office automation only. The reason is that many times the professionals feel that a lot of their activities in the office can be automated. They can start using computers. But many times when I speak to the professionals, first thing I notice is they want to do it, but something is there within them which keeps them stopping to take the next step. So my role today is to tell you that today, as I complete my session at 6 o'clock and the next session gets over at 8 o'clock, I am sure immediately you will be able to implement few of the things we are discussing today. So that is the objective of the talk today. Otherwise, this will only be a theory class. So let us promise ourselves at least one small thing from the systems angle or from the office automation angle. All of us, including me, will implement it today by before 12 o'clock in the night. So with that, let us start the session. So let me share my PowerPoint presentation first to you. So few things you can observe here in my slide as such. It says for chartered accountants, we need technology solutions, but those technology solutions, these should be the characteristics. Otherwise, actually, you will not enjoy doing it. So what is not enjoyable, we don't do it, right? So these are the things that are very important for office automation. There has to be simple solutions. It should be cost effective, because if I tell you some software will cost 1 lakh or 10 lakhs or 1 crore, immediately you will switch off the computers and go off. So it should be cost effective. It should be easy to implement, because if it is difficult to implement, again, there will not be any interest as such. And when we look at the entire system as such, implementing the automation, the real strength is to understand that it will increase the insights into the business models, into the way we do our functionality on a regular basis, and also how to better manage the risks that is associated with our profession as such. So broadly, these areas must be there when we look at office automation as such. Next, first, for a CA who is in practice, these attributes are very important in automation tools. Most primary thing everybody will look forward is there should be accuracy. There should be more value added work. Cost factor should be considered. Can we tap into larger client base? Because once you go into technology, the time taken to do the work reduces. When the time reduces, you will have more disposable time in your hand. As a result of that, you will be able to provide more services, and hence you can go for a larger client base. After doing all the implementation, if it is only cost, then all of us would not be interested. So primary thing we have to see is, by implementing this automation, will our profitability increase? So these are the consideration we have to see. It is not that straight away we just go and then just implement it without looking the profitability as such. So it is not like a marriage. There has to be dynamic thing here. It is not like a marriage. You are married to somebody and then it is there for lifetime. It has to be something dynamic, and that has to be kept in mind. Time to implement and ease. There should be ease of implementation. Time taken should be less. And then the capital expenditure should not be there. So all of you would understand, when I mention capital expenditure, investment in huge amount of servers or many equipments as such, those kind of capex should not be there. If there is capex, then you would not be interested in doing it again, because then it will become an investment business. We are not in the regular services operations as such. So many of the things that we suggest in our presentations are normally SaaS based tools. SaaS is software as a service. So you can enter into a subscription model on a monthly basis or annual basis, and you can use the product or service of the service provider as such. So that way, huge capital expenditure need not be spent. With a small amount of subscription, you can do many automation in the office as such. So you can see this is the on right hand side is our office. Actually, we have a tree inside the office to ensure that we care for the environment as such. And of course, you can see the lovely people there standing. So those are two offices that we have. So all of us as chartered accountants have these problems. As management, we have some problems because we have to manage our resources. It may be people, it may be our resources, right? So it may be the cost. So we have to manage it. We will have client related problems because client keeps telling every time you send me a new person, how can you send new person? How many times should I explain my business to you? Then there will be partners and employee issues. Employees will come and keep asking you for reimbursement from 1st of the month till 30th of the month. How do you manage it? With least amount of paper as such. And of course, as in any other office, we will have many administration issues as well. Digitization and automation, artificial intelligence. These are the basic challenges that we have. So when we look at the office automation or using technology in CA firms, these three will form the pedestal on which we have to build our practice. So if you look at something like digitization, automation, and artificial intelligence, I'm sure some of you must be thinking he is going overboard. He's thinking too much. All these things are not possible. We don't know why he is using all these terminologies for a CA practice. My friends, it is not at all complicated. All these three things are very simpler. So when I go to the next slides, you would understand how we can handle it much better or much easier. So let us make it simpler. We'll not make it complex. So what is digitization? Digitization is only scanning. You take a paper, scan it, you share, you store it. That is called digitization. Now you tell me, is it tough? So many times it so happens that we would not take any steps in terms of office automation because these names and the words that we use in English language looks like, it is all very complex. Actually, it is not. Let me explain to you. Digitization is only scanning. You scan the paper, make it a soft copy and save it. What is automation? Example, there is a software called File. Spelling is different. It is F-Y-L-E. It is a very nice application. You can use it in a website portal, or you can as well use it in a phone as such. So what does File do? A mobile application like a File will do automated accounting. You may be thinking, how can it do automated accounting? See, it's something like you go and fill a petrol somewhere and you take photograph of a petrol bill on the File application and you classify that into petrol expenses. So in the File application, automatically it books the expense into petrol expenses as such. So how do you use it for preparing financials as such? File, something like File can be integrated with other packages. For example, it can be integrated with, say, QuickBooks. What is the advantage? The entries that are passed in File, once, of course, there would be steps. Something like chart of account should be same between QuickBooks and File. And in a click of a button, all these entries will go from File and it will get updated in QuickBooks as such. So is it automation? Yes, because manual entries are no more there. If you use this, you can just automate the entries as such. Then comes artificial intelligence. For artificial intelligence, I have one more example for you. The application name is Find My Invoice. So this is a nice application. You can install it in your email. So what the Find My Invoice does is, any of the invoices you get from any of the vendors, this application will identify the invoice wherever, whichever email has the invoice. On all those invoices, it can regroup and it can classify and it can remain in one place. Point number 2, in case you specify which invoice you want to see, you can give the vendor name, it will go into the invoice, and some of the data it can capture from the PDF invoice, and then it can throw the data to you. So isn't it artificial intelligence? Because it is doing much more than automation. It is applying bit more mind than what is required for automation, and it will go and do some search of invoice and retrieve the data back for you. So now you can tell me, in terms of the nature of work we do, these words are not alien to us at all. Digitization is scanning, automation is using an application like File, artificial intelligence is using application like Find My Invoice. So friends, you may be thinking, what is it telling, all these things, whether it is possible or not, have you tested? So these are the softwares that we are already working in our office. Of course, me being in tax team, some of the softwares I would not use, but our accounts team would certainly use many of the softwares. So these integration with File or using the information in Find My Invoice. So these are something that we have been regularly doing. So it is not something which is not doable. Digitization has been our lifeblood now, because we have claimed that we are paperless office, so we cannot afford to have any of our tables with papers. So in fact, I don't know how I can prove that to you, because okay, I can just give you a glimpse of the office. One of the offices right now I'm sitting, I'm just showing you the glimpse of it. So you can just see here the tables. It's only the laptops and the desktops. There's nothing more there. So in fact, we don't use any, there is no drawer in the office, because if there is drawer, people keep papers in it. So we have removed drawer in the office. So that is where I said digitization is very, very important for us. And that forms the lifeblood. Let me move to the next slide. We don't have much time. Okay. So when it comes to File, as I mentioned to you, you can scan a bill. The tool itself passes the entry. It checks whether it is right. You just do a basic sanity check. The entry is dumped in the trial balance, and you can just close the application as such. So this is how simple it is in File as such. Find My Invoice, this is how it works. This is a dashboard that I have taken a picture of the email ID, one of the email ID, wherein they wanted to search only the invoices of Ola as such, and then the payment made for, say, Book My Show, or payments made to Amazon. Now, when Find My Invoice, the application is run, what it does is, all these invoices, whichever you select, it can move into separate folder separately. You need not download it. So Find My Invoice can find out all this, for example, Amazon payments, and it can move it into separate folder as such. So this is where you can see aspects of artificial intelligence as such. So this is called Pepilio, one of the web applications that we use. It is both a people management software and also an operations tool that we use in our office. You can see here everything is stored as services. So we can enter into any of these services, and we can go download the files, or we can use few other benefits that are there here. So possibly, I think I can just show you one of the services myself, so that you would understand actually how we go about using it. Just one moment, let me just share the screen with you. I'll share the full screen. You'll be able to see them. Just one moment. So you can see here, this is the Pepilio software, the web application that we use. So normally this is how I get a dashboard. For example, in my dashboard, because I head both the direct tax and indirect tax in our office, I can see here totally I have 789 services. 45 I have to complete still. So 118 are overdue. All this overdue became because of the web application issue. But again, all these are exactly not overdue because almost 100 are completed in this. After this meeting, I have to close those services. So this is how it helps me to keep control of those. So I can see all the services here. For example, if somebody is doing a GST annual returns, I can just go here and check who is going to do this service. I know in this case, Upeksha is involved. So this is how we can manage both the software and the applications part of it. So we can see here there is one more service that I opened. It is about income tax authorities, one of the representations. So you can see all the files are lying here only. So we don't do any hard copy. I'm live. I've opened my software and I'm just showing this to you. So if I need any of the documents, I can just open it from here. You can see what are the covering letters we have done, signed documents, provisional statements. So the advantage of this is in case you have to give a report to the client, you can directly give it from here. And apart from this, we use many templates as such. The templates normally would ensure that the job can be directly done by the articles. You need not worry about what has to be guided to them and all that. So for example, if we go to any of the audit services, I can just go to one of the audit services. So you can just go here and check one of the completed service or active service. Let me check. I have the statutory audit file for 2021. So you can see here, these are the task lists. This is called a template that I call. Say General Ledger Review by Dr. Srinivas, Dr. Srinivas, sorry. So there are steps that has to be followed. So once these steps are done, they will do the tick, and then based on that, they will tell their task has been completed as such. So everything is controlled here. For example, there would be detailed templates given, something like this. I'm just showing this to you. For example, if you take statutory and tax audit, it starts with say opening balance share, capital, reserves and surplus share application, deferred tax provisions, investments, and for each of this, you would know what they have to verify, what documentation is required, right? So this kind of a template is already embedded in this Pepilio software. So the person Srinivas who is doing, he need not come to senior. Many times the templates or what job he is supposed to do one after the other as a task list, it is already given. For example, if you take statutory audit only, for a simple company also, you can see there are 188 line items. These are the things that we are supposed to do in statutory audit, just a basic stat audit as such. So this is called using template in a Pepilio software. So Pepilio software is quite, it is not a costly software. Of course, we have been using it for over 11 years. So obviously we would enjoy some better pricing from them. So in case we are getting per person per month at say around 250 or 300 rupees, others may get a little bit more because totally in our office, the office strength is nearly 500 people. So obviously the vendor would give certain discounts to us. It may be little more to other firms, but I should tell you, you can eliminate the entire thing, what you're doing in the hard copies and all that once you go into some application. I'm not suggesting you should go only into Pepilio as such. I'm only telling that Pepilio is one of the options that is there for us. That was the point that I was trying to tell you. So you can see here, for example, Pepilio may be one of the this one, but there are many others. For example, see something like Pepilio, the CA Institute has given many other softwares also. For example, this audit module is there. Legal compliance management is there. So there are many softwares that are available. You can go to the portal of the CA Institute, ICA.org. So there you have the e-initiatives, the electronic initiatives of the CA Institute. Lot of things are already there. If you just go there and try to see what would be interesting for example, this is a practice management tool. You can see this is practice management is a tool. So this is also a workflow. See, this is free for 3 years, up to 5 users per CFM, and free up to 25 customers. So beyond this is when the actual charge will happen. This is from Avanti section. So I'm saying my example is only to give you Pepilio as to, if we used one application, we abide by the rules that is defined among ourselves. And the output is that we don't have any draw in the office. We don't have any paper in the office. It is absolutely paperless. So at the end of the day, the control is much better. You will exactly know what job each of the people are doing. If you give one name telling that Harsha, what jobs he is doing, list of all services, what he is doing, you'll be able to monitor in one place as such. So this is from the practice management aspect. Then next, now, because of the COVID, the work from home situation has arrived. So because of work from home, what is it that we have to look out for? So what we should have something like a cloud application. Pepili also is a cloud application, because you don't have to download the software in your hard disk as such. You just log in as any of your email ID and you will be able to log into the cloud application as such. Cloud applications have access to more computing resources than it would be feasible to have on site. Your application can rapidly scale without an increasing your capital costs, because whether it is 1,000 clients you handle or 10 clients you handle, you are paying only the 300 rupees, 250 rupees per person in the office as such. So the scaling actually does not increase your cost. That is the advantage. Accessibility, you can access the cloud at any point of time. It is not tied to single machine. For example, somebody wants to access the data from the client machine, so they can access from there. So just because accessibility is given, not that everybody can see everything. It does not work like that. Normally what happens is, assume somebody is doing say or statutory audit of molecular connections that I gave as an example to you. Only one person, only 2 or 3 people who are doing the audit will be given access. None of the other members will be able to see the service. That is how the control also is there. So whether it is data protection or how the accessibility should be there, everything can be defined in cloud applications as well. So, and the advantage of cloud application is you'll keep the cost down. Assume that you want to develop your own product the way you want it, and then have a product on your hard disk. That cost would be in many lakhs and millions, which is not the case with a SaaS model, because in SaaS model, per person you are paying as a service fee as such. So that ensures that the costs are very, very low as such. This is called SaaS model, SaaS. It is software as a service model as such. Next, so when it comes to the kind of applications that we use also, recently we have moved into Microsoft applications. You can see that there is a lot of tussle that keeps happening between Microsoft systems and the Google systems. Over a period of time, because of the amount of data that we carry sheerly in all our systems as such, and Google being something which is an open application, it can get searched from anywhere across the world. Just as a precautionary measure, we took and we just went into Microsoft. Not to put down Google at all, because Google will have its own safety features. But only thing is, because we found in Microsoft there are much better applications and more possibilities, and it looks much better also than Google. So we had to just choose between these, and we went into this. The Microsoft subscription is costlier, but then I'm just telling those of you who can afford to go for Microsoft, you can try doing it. So the advantage is something like a tool like a Microsoft Teams. You can see the data is in the cloud. We can have video sharing rights. All the people within the office, they talk sharing the videos, because when they work from home, actually that would be required. Otherwise, the personal conversation kind of a facility would not be there unless video sharing is there. The tasks can be given in Microsoft Teams. If I have a person called, say, Sanjana, I'll tell today's tasks. So today's task, you have to file income tax returns of ABC, tax audit 3CD, complete the clause 34 schedule. You have this form 15CB, foreign remittance certification of this client. Complete all these three before 1 o'clock today. So I can give a task and she'll go and she'll take the link. Okay, this is done, this is done, this is done. So at the end of the day, you get a, on the screen, you can see what is done, what is not done. You can do subsequent follow-ups as such. So record video fiber files. Of course, when you're talking, you will be able to record the files during the meetings. And later, if the junior wants to listen to it again, he need not come back to you. He can just go back to the videos and refer to them. And Microsoft Teams can be divided into teams, because in our office, we have almost 8 teams. And it can be divided into audit, tax, corporate law consulting team, payroll services, say accounting solutions, indirect tax, direct taxes. So the team wise, there can be groups, and each of the group can have their own agenda for discussions as such. So this is one of the advantages of Microsoft Teams. So just for your sake, I can show you here. I hope you can see this. For example, Microsoft Teams is here. This is my calendar. Largely not much in the later evening, because you can see a Kolkata ICA program. It is already blocked here. And then I have these 9 chats that is going on here. So I can interact with my people here. It's here only. And you can see the activities that is happening in the direct taxes, my calendar, and we can make the calls from here. I can select any of the numbers here. For example, Trinath is one of the captains. So if I want to talk to him, I have to just click on this button. The call just starts. I'm not doing it right now, otherwise he'll come online. So I'm not doing that. And in case we need some of the files for ready access, these are the discussion files normally we use. I mean, the entire office I opened it, I'm showing it. I'm not shy about it or anything, because we are all CA professionals. It is good that all of us are with this is what we are doing. So this is how MS Teams work. You can see the kind of advantage the Microsoft Teams can give us. Next is Power Automate. It is built time-saving workflows into everything from individual tasks to large-scale systems with seamless integration as such to hundreds of pre-built connectors. It enables everyone to build secure workflows with a low-code, no-code guided experience to automate everyday tasks with robotic process automation. Automate Mundane also has rules-based tasks with point-and-click simplicity, whether the app is old or new, on-premises or in cloud, with RPA in Power Automate. So examples, approval process automation. For example, say there is a payment process happening and a person is there who will upload the bill and it will come and sit in the approver's login. The approver will log in, he will just verify, he'll click it as approved. So you can see an application like a Power Automate can ensure that there are no paper in between, there is no lag of time. You don't have to punch the papers, keep it somewhere. It seamlessly travels from one person to another. So it can have many other advantages. For example, email response automation, web automation, desktop automation, automatic integration with Microsoft apps like Lists, SharePoint, Power BI, Power Apps, OneDrive, 0365 apps, etc. So the point is, in case you want to take it very, very advanced way and still adopt technology, it is yet possible. But if you find it complex, that is fine, stop there. This is there for us to attempt on some other day. There is nothing to worry as such. See, something like a Power BI is incredible software. So I'll see in case we have it in further slides. There are few things like Firefly's AI tool. It can record and transcribe the files. That is the advantage it has got. Fireflies integrates all the leading CRMs and web conference platforms on the market, including say Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoho. So all this can be integrated, and you can see here it can read and transcribe itself. So those kind of softwares also can be useful, especially for outsourcing business as such. So Microsoft also has a planner tool. You can actually plan person-wise what are the scheduling that you have to do, and what work is there for priority as such, what are the list of jobs that are there, and can you schedule your meetings. So Microsoft Planner, as it is, it can give you multiple advantages, and in fact it can show you, you spend time on which software how much, and it can better organize you in a way that, okay, this is the job you spend more but the result is very low, so concentrate on those jobs which pays you more. So these things can be quite creative and interactive. And finally, as I told you, it's not about the cost alone. By doing all this, to the extent you'll be able to plan your days and always try to go into aspect of what is important I'll do first, what is urgent is not always the priority, what is important is always the priority. That is how we have to classify the jobs. So you can see those kind of things can be easily achieved through this MS Planner asset. So work from home or client location. So these options can be in both. For example, in Microsoft 365 apps, we have PowerPoint, Word, Excel, OneNote, and Access only. OneNote is a marvelous, I have to say, one of the marvelous inventions that I have to say. I will just try to open one of the OneNotes. I'll see if I can just do it right now. For example, if I go to OneNote here, for example, this is one of the, I'm not very sure of this, but let me just try. This is one client data that I have. Imagine this kind of a dashboard, if you can give the client, he'll be so happy to see. For example, this is one of the latest things that we included in our application. You can see here the month, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, etc. So possibly, I think the client started somewhere in September, we started the work. Prior to that, few documentation requirements, I think we might have taken some documents. You can see here, salary related challans are here only. TDS on rent, it is here only. 194J, it is there here. TDS workings, each month workings, it is just there here. GST related, GSTR 1 and 3B, everything is available. So you are able to access the data within 60 seconds. So we follow one activity in the office. It is called the 60 seconds game. It means to say in 60 seconds, any document that you want or your client wants must be available with you. If it is not there, it is not there. That's it. So that is the kind of efficiency we have to build in the systems as such. So these are financial year 21-22. Let me go to permanent documents. What does this permanent documents have? So it has incorporation certificate, PAN, TAN, GST articles, memorandum direct, everything available in a click of a button. Come to agreement. What agreements? Okay, there is a rental agreement that is there as of now. As of now, nothing else is uploaded. So there is a facility. I can add a TP agreement here, whatever, right? So you can see here the kind of advantages that we carry in SharePoint as such in the OneNotes. And email and calendar, of course, there is Outlook and Exchange. Meeting is MS Teams. Social and intranet, we have not used much. Files and content, we use OneDrive, Stream, and Sway. Task management, we can use Planner, Power Apps, Power Automate, and to-do lists. Advanced analytics, My Analytics, and Power BI Pro. So you can see several applications which are quite relevant to our day-to-day applications are being used. And this is where the speed can increase. The only thing I can stress up, I understand all of us have many aspirations, and aspirations are possible on two counts. One is scaling up the number of activities that you do in a given amount of time. And in case you have to scale up the number of activities you have to do in a given amount of time, the speed has to be higher. In case to search a document, if you take 1 day, 2 days, 10 days, 1 year, and we're not able to search the document. And whereas some application like this will allow us to access the documents in 60 seconds. Now you tell me what is the difference between cost and benefit analysis. You can't even compare the benefits for the cost that you incur as such. So I think our focus should be on the benefits. I understand some costs may be there, but you can figure out. I'm not selling Microsoft here. I'm just showing using Microsoft what we were able to do. You can go to any of the software vendor and find out in lesser cost basis, can they provide any other solutions as well, right? Which is also a possibility. That is why I gave the idea of Pepilio also. Pepilio does not cost much because it is between 250 or 300 rupees per person per month. So those are the things which still make it affordable. The services now, by doing technology, what is it that we are going to achieve? That is the question we should ask. So we can say by using technology, we are building dynamic dashboards for our clients. For example, OneNote. I showed you in OneNote permanent documents, monthly documents, quarterly documents, tax related, company law related, everything is available to in click of a button. 60 seconds rule. Then comes Power BI and simple Excel solutions. So when it comes to something like a Power BI, you can see the kind of data that is shown here on the right now. I have not opened any Power BI application as such. I'm just showing you the facility or the reports that it can give. You can see the kind of interactive reports that it can give. You may be thinking, what is this, all these complex numbers he's showing? No, actually, it is not complex. It is very simple. I'll tell you how it works. Power BI is a tool that can open in a mobile application. For one of the saloons, we do internal audit across 150 stores. So the CFO will have his mobile application open. As and when the audit happens, the reports will start flowing to his mobile phone. So it is something like as he's having his coffee, he's already looking at the audit report. Maybe later at the meeting stage, we may discuss what are the critical points that needs discussion. Otherwise, anything and everything, he is able to just see from his mobile application as such. So these are the selling points. What is the selling points? Once you tell these kind of interactive reports, we will give you. And then across, look at the saving of the time. Before the internal audit report is published, he is already looking at what is going on in the audit. As and when the audit is happening, physical stock is being taken, the report is getting updated in Power BI real time. So those are the advantages that the Power BI would give us. Or you may think that we don't want all this complex one. Give me something which is as simpler as an Excel. Yes, that also is there with me. Use something like this. Let me just open my other file. For example, when we did the work from home, we did this one single nice spreadsheet as such. So I think I have to enable the content one. Start. Okay. So for example, I would like to see what are the jobs Akshay Gowda did. I click on Akshay Gowda and then the data is being read and it says these are the jobs that he did. And what did he do? For example, he did work for CDC India Advisors. Click on this. Oh, these are the jobs that he did, is it? Simply. So the point is, in case a data, we gave a data table for them to maintain. For example, this is consolidated data for the entire June month for the office. So they were supposed to maintain a work from home diary and all those diaries have been clubbed and we have made one very nice pivot table like this. So different kind of reports can come out in this. Whether you want team wise, for example, I've taken IDT. I'm just coming out of it. Let me come out of the jobs here. Okay. And let me come out of the number of the employee that I worked on. Okay. So you can see here, it's all interactive. It says totally 32,947 hours. Non-billable is 5,700. Total hours are so much. So which team you want to see? Direct X. Go to the employee and what job did they do? So the point is, when it comes to the Excel spreadsheet as such, Excel itself can be used as an interactive platform as such. So that is the point that I was trying to drive here. So how to do it? I completely understand your question, but then you have to give time to some of your younger lot to learn these applications and then implement in the company. See, as a chartered accountant, you need not know Excel. You are a person who is brilliant and you're able to manage people, and you should know what is it that you want. So ask the people, what do you want? I want this in Excel, create it and give it to them. It's their job to do it. People are there to do it. It's not that there is a template for everything and I'll give it to you. That is not possible. I'm saying our mind should be open to understand that in case we ask somebody, I want it, I can tell you there are many people who can just make it and give it to you. As a CA, be very smarter and just use it to your advantage. So that is the point that I was trying to drive here. Let me come back to the presentation. So Excel solution, simple tracking and analysis also can be done as such. Now, the next one is the most important slide compared to whatever I have spoken till now. And why is that? DCMM is called Digital Competency Maturity Model version 2.0. This is a digital competency model that has been there in the CA Institute portal itself, or even if you can go to normal Google and type DCMM 2.0 ICAI, it can show you a PDF file as such. Now, what is the advantage of a DCMM file? It has level of automation. So what is digital competency maturity model? For example, I am a firm who has started just now. Example 2, I am a firm who is 1 year old. Example 3, I am a firm which is 5 years old. Then I am a firm which is say 10 years old or much more than that. Each of us, if we see the technology that we use in our office, will have different stages of maturity, right? So the objective of the CA Institute is to ensure the digital competency maturity has to keep improving step by step in all the firms within the Indian country as such. So in this direction, two important people made a tremendous and humongous contribution to our profession. One is my partner Guru Prasad Makam. Another is Mr. Narasimhan Ilangovan. Both of them have spent days and days to figure out what are the challenges that are faced by chartered accountants. And based on that discussions, the outcome was digital competency maturity model. So in case you take up this course, which is a free course, every time you log in, it will ask you certain questions. You have to answer that. At the end of the session, you will see how many points you have scored. Now, what is the objective? Then it tells you these are the points which requires improvement in your digital competence. For next 3 months, take 1 or 2 objectives, ensure that you fulfill them. After 3 months, take the test again. Then it will show you this is where you have reached. These are the next 2 tasks for you. So if you keep on doing this, at one point of time, somewhere in around 2-3 years down the line, because by 3 years you would have done at least 12 implementations in the organization, which can be major breakthroughs in your organization as such. And each of the steps that you take, I am telling you, it will keep taking you to the next level as such. So it is something as an activity you should consider as a present continuous, not something which is future. No, nothing will happen in future. It is all about the power of now. So after the session today, you have to go back home, at least open digital competency maturity model, either in the CA Institute website or go to Google, open the PDF copy as such. So take the print or go to this, put the points. At least by day end, we should understand in DCMM model, where do we stand. So this is one homework for you. And if you do not do this homework, no dinner tonight and you will not sleep. Before 12 o'clock, mandatorily you have to do this. Okay, let me come back to the technology part. We have to be proud the way an Indian product company is making waves in integration of financial information. The name is Zoho. It's an Indian product and they are doing incredibly well. So we have taken the Zoho subscription as well. And whether it is our books or people management. Now everything is happening through Zoho. So the kind of implementation you can do in Zoho is tremendous. There's a lot of integration that is possible, and that is what makes it something like a quasi ERP as such. So as and when we grow in the profession, this is something that we have to keep in mind that we should go with it. So Zoho CRM to Zoho Books, all customer master which set up in Zoho CRM can be integrated with Zoho Books. All customer outstanding can check in Zoho CRM. Bank to Zoho Books. Bank statement feeds can be auto downloaded from the bank directly. Automated BRS can be set up based on the entries that you have passed and the bank statement downloaded. It does automated BRS. So once the BRS is done, of course, it will throw some of the line items which it could not understand because of the way we record few things. Even computers would have some limitations. But if you have some 1,000 lines, it will reduce to some 30 or 40 lines, which makes BRS much more simpler. Zoho expense to Zoho Books. Example, somebody is taking travel advance and expenses approval are required, and uploading all supporting documents happens in Zoho expenses. Once that is done, integration is done to Zoho Books. So Zoho expense is one application. We upload the advance, we upload the expenses and bills. Zoho expenses forms a report. The report becomes entries and it will go into Zoho Books. So this is the kind of advantage we have. Zoho Books to Zoho Analytics. Of course, you have the Zoho Books, but then you have 12 partners. These are their sharing ratios. These are inter-team adjustments you have. This is how the expenses have to be shared. After all that, you are supposed to get the profit sharing. How do you do it? So from Zoho Books, there's a link to Zoho Analytics. In a click of a button, Zoho Analytics will give you your monthly MIS as such. So these are the advantages of Zoho. So you can see Zoho people here. These are some of the things that you can do. For example, all this data can directly import it from files. It just comes in. From Zoho CRM, you can see here. We have just recorded the applications just to show that, yes, actually, this is how simple it is. So if somebody using Zoho CRM, all the data with click of a button, all the contacts, the master data, everything is being imported into Zoho people as you can see here, right? Go to customers. These are the customers that you have. Yeah. So the point is, you can see here how simple it was to just take all the data from Zoho CRM into Zoho people as such. So this is how simple it is. That is why we have recorded, and in fact, we have shown it to you in the presentation itself. So what all you can do in Zoho integration? Integration with in-house tools, integration with third-party software, integration of multiple modules, single platform integration that is within Zoho as such. These are the several possibilities from Zoho. So you can see here, you can do payroll, you can protect passwords in Vault, have a CRM tool, do Zoho Analytics, have fixed assets register, inventory transactions can be recorded. Zoho Recruit will allow you to do interviews, etc. Zoho Expense allows you to claim reimbursements and those kind of things. So only in case of, just for our this one, because I think we have another 5 minutes, so I'll just show how this one works. Let me go to Zoho Recruit. Okay, for example, this is Zoho Recruit. For your sake, I've already logged into this. Just a moment. Just give me 1 moment. So you can see here what are the interviews in line, right? What is in partners round, what is in HR round, what is in final round, and you can search the people by names. What are the job openings that we have? How many candidates we have interviewed? Who are the referrals? How much referral we have to pay? All those things can be captured here only. And in interviews, we can give the point system. There are point system. If it is rejected, he did not meet desired qualifications. Everything is here. So you can see here, even a recruitment does not have any paper in the office. That is the point. So these are some of the things I thought it is important for sharing with all of you. As I told you and as I promised, one of the things that I've already initiated among all of you is to ensure that today before 12 o'clock, you are going to take the test of digital competency maturity model. And if you do not take it, no dinner for you. So with this, I would like to rest my talk. And if anything else is there that I have to share, you can let me. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Prashant. You really justified the 1 hour given to you. And again, we can teach fishing, we cannot fish for people. So it's like you have taught that there are tools in the market which can be used for our office automation. Now it is up to us how much we go and do the fishing and how much fish we catch for our future. So thanks a lot, Prashant, for the deliberation. Friends, if you have any question, I'll just enable the chat box. You can write in the chat. In between, I would like to inform Prashant that we had around 280 members who had joined at one point of time. As of now, we have 243 members who are there live, and everyone was here to listen to you. And I would also request Treasurer of ACAE, Neeraj Haruria ji, to give formal vote of thanks to Prashant because he will be leaving, as we all are working very tight in this audit year end, I would say. So, Neeraj ji, are you there? I think he was there. Neeraj ji. One second. Friends, if you have any question, you can write in the chat box in the meantime. Okay. Mayu, can you do the, please give the formal vote of thanks because I think Neeraj ji is tied up with his filing of data. Maybe he is joined, but maybe there is some connection issue or something. Mayu, over to you. Kindly unmute yourself. Okay, sorry. 1 second. I have to give you the unmute. Mayu. Yeah, Mayu, now you can unmute yourself.
There is a question in the chat box. Vivek.
Yeah.
Take it.
Kindly go ahead, Mayur, with that question also.
So for sharing the documents with the client, because we are subscribed to Microsoft, we use Microsoft OneNote and Microsoft Share. Two things you can note down: OneNote and SharePoint. Second, in Pepilio itself, you can give access to client. For example, in case you have 10 people in your organization, you subscribe for 10 email IDs. In case one of the client wants his data only to be available to him whenever he wants to see, you can give access to his email to only his services. He can log in and he will be able to take the files, only those which you mark as copy to client. Then when he goes to Pepilio, he will get only those files which you want him to see as such. So we are using Pepilio and we are also using Microsoft SharePoint.
And I think this COVID has also taught us how to use Microsoft Team, which is a combined software, Office 365 and Microsoft Team, because whatever we could have thought of, whether it's a Zoom meeting, it's a sharing of document, whether it's OneDrive, whether it's Team, doing a client meeting, everything is possible with Microsoft Team as well. And the softwares like, as you said about sharing, we also use softwares like OneNote, which you said, Dropbox we can use, which is free of cost to a certain extent. OneDrive we can use Google Drive. There are many options. It's again, we have given one concept. There are several complementary file softwares to them, and all these softwares are not hefty, as you rightly said. 1 lakh 2 lakh ka software बनाएंगे, हम लोग भाग जाएंगे. All these are not that very costly and SaaS based, and it really makes our life very simple. It means we give a call to the client, boss, come on Team for 5 minutes. We can record in Team. We can go on. Microsoft, various other platforms are there. Automate is there. Power Automate is there. BI is there. BI is a very powerful tool for infographics and sharing and all. So it's really, life has become very easy nowadays. Over to you.
Thank you, Vivek. So it was a phenomenal 60 minutes. We all have got to know various softwares which we can use in practically in our practice and in our office. So this will make our life too easy. So the beauty about these software and office automation is once we start using it, then we realize it. Oh, these things are so easy to manage. So that is the beauty. And then once we start using it, we get to use, means without that, it seems that how we can, it is very, very difficult. Even if one of the software is not working for a day or two, it seems how we can, it is not possible to work. So that is the beauty. So I'll recommend everyone, because it's the time of technology now, so that we can use it. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing your experience and sharing about various tools which each one of us can use. From ACA, we are sharing this e-memento for you, sir, for sparing your time in this busy schedule, in this year-end time, and helping us to automate our offices. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Thank you, Mayur, for the official formal vote of thanks. And Prashant, we are really thankful, and we'll be sharing this memento. You can just print it and laminate and keep in your office, because we have learned also to go digital and automate our system. Thanks to you and your firm. Thanks a lot, Prashant. And friends, next speaker, Mr. Asim Trivedi, who will be discussing about code of ethics. We'll be discussing about social media. We all have been in social media day in, day out. But the postings which you are doing, whether it can attract code of conduct, whether it can attract a penalty under penalty by ICI under penalty by ICI for our code of conduct, professional ethics, whether we are knowing the professional ethics which are there, because many of us who have actually gone to the professional ethics also, the practical application, leave about documentation, leave about evidence collection, but how to safeguard ourselves is very important, because in today's time, whether you are in assurance, whether you are in practice, or whether you are in industry, what Vivek? People in industry is also required to abide by code of ethics. Yes, that's about code of ethics 2020. And that is how it has become more challenging for everyone. So friends, code of ethics 2020 is not only about people who is in industry, but it's also about people who is in practice, people who is in industry. And it is for all of us. And today, this session is also important because Institute wants us to go through the code of ethics. Institute wants us that we abide by code of ethics and we comply with it, so that, as I was saying, the disciplinary committee which is coming in force, it doesn't stop us. It doesn't creates problem for us, because the person who will be at helm will be someone from not a chartered accountant, and he may not be knowing the practical difficulties which we face. So with this, we'll be starting our next session. The speaker was in another meeting. He is joining in 1 minute. In the meantime, I would like to inform all of you that all these videos which are there, all the session which we conduct is there on for you on YouTube. We have created the channel on YouTube having more than 200 videos on variety topics, whether it is about Excel, whether it is about M&A, whether it is about accounting implication on merger acquisition by MP Vijay Kumarji, whether it is about a course on GST which was done by ACA. Everything is on our ACA channel. So do subscribe to ACA channel and follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn to stay updated about our programs. And friends, the speaker is just joining. So we have to wait for 1 minute. I'll just call the speaker. And to others, I would like to request, kindly rename yourself as some of them has named themselves as admin, and some of them has really mistyped their name. So rename yourself, and many of you have joined without the audio in. So those who have joined without the audio in, we have taken a snapshot of those. You will not be getting the CP credit, and they will not be able to listen to us also because their audios are not in. So those who are joining without audio in and those who are not staying with us for 3 hours is not going to get the CP, because CP rule says that we have to stay for 3 hours, listen to the program for getting the credit of CP. Friends, I am just waiting for our speaker. He is joining in any minute. In the meantime, Mayu, can you update all the members who have joined over here about the recent MCA extension for ROC?
Sure, Vivekji. So, MCA has issued a circular today regarding the extension of annual filings. So, all the forms related to annual filing, whether it is AOC4, AOC4 XBRL, CF, AOC4 CFS, the due date now is extended to 15th of February. So, irrespective of the date of AGM, whenever you have done for the financial year ending 31st March 2021, the due date now is 15th of Feb. And for MGT7 and MGT7A, it has been extended to 28th of Feb 2022. Friends, it is pertinent to note that LLP due dates of LLP has not been extended. So it is still 31st of December only. And one more thing, the original due date for LLP was October end. So if we are not able to file the Form 8 for LLP by 31st December, so from on 1st of Jan, the additional fee would start with 6,200. It will not start with 100 rupees per day, and thereon it will accumulate. So that is one part. And regarding the due date for companies, though the due date has extended, but the AGM date is last date is 30th November only. So we have to conduct the AGM by which all the companies would have already conducted, and balance sheet signing date, we have no extension for that. And even UDIN, we have to generate the UDIN within 60 days. So we have to complete those formalities within time, and filing with MCA can be done by 15th of Feb without any additional fee.
Friends, there is some technical issue. Our speaker is joining any moment.
Hello.
Yeah, welcome Asimji.
Well, thank you, sir.
Mayu, without further ado, I would request you to introduce the speaker.
Good evening, sir. CA Asim Trivedi is a fellow member of ICI. He is especially known in the country for his weekly journal, Jama Punji, in Hindi national daily newspaper, Patrika. He has vast experience in the field of Companies Act, internal audit, accounting and auditing standards, and currently working in training and implementation of IFRS and New Companies Act 2013. He has authored books on for CA student on accounting, on auditing and assurance, company law, accounting standards, among others. He is a nationwide known faculty for corporate and allied laws, auditing, Ind AS, accounting standards, IFRS, and business laws. He has delivered more than 200 seminars on ICA platforms and ICI and other platforms. We welcome you, sir, to ACI and request you to start your deliberations.
Thank you very much. I was not getting that mail because that mail was in spam, so I couldn't understood where was the link is there. So now I got the link. So thank you very much. I'm very much um, afraid that how many of us are really going to enjoy this session, because at the end, when the returns are at its peak and the last day is there, how many of us can concentrate on this issue? It may be a concern. So important is still you are 252 participants, which I can see here is great. Now, the subject which is given to me by this study circle is Code of Ethics. And it's been 2 hours I have to talk on Code of Ethics. So I have separated that Code of Ethics, 2 parts into 2 different categories. That one, which I treat it as discussion, that would be up to 7:30, 7:40. And then we'll have a practice session that is called doubt clearing session. If any query readdressal is required, I'll definitely going to readdress the query of all the members. Now, important is we are talking about code of ethics. It is the same code of ethics which has been taught to us way back when we all were in CA final, and some of you might be having a particular topic which was named as professional ethics and code of conduct, which has been transferred as code of ethics. So now, what is this code of ethics exactly? It is nothing but compilation of all the do's and all the don'ts. So it is compilation of all do's and all don'ts, which are defined under the Chartered Accountants Regulation Act 1949, as good as International Code of Ethics, which is issued by the ISBA, that is International Ethical Standards Board. Now, important is that if we look at Code of Ethics from our point of view, and if we want to refer the Code of Ethics, which is issued by Acae, recently in 2019, we found that there are 3 volumes of our Code of Ethics. The first volume is about the international code. Second volume is about the local code, that is, which is known as Chartered Accountants Act 1949. And the third volume which they have made, and that third volume is about the case studies which have been there in Code of Ethics. There are disciplinary cases where institute has taken action against the members. So that has been included there in case of volume number 3. So we have volume 1, we have volume 2, we have volume 3. And today I am going to discuss mainly the provisions of volume 2, that too in the light of provision which are mentioned in volume 1. If I take about volume 1, then everybody will ask that how volume 1 will be a binding on us, because it is a kind of international code. So let me clarify you. India is returning member of the International Federation, that is called IFAC. So International Federation of Accountants, we are member to that. So in the aegis of IFAC, we have International Auditing and Assurance Standard Board, we have Ethical Standards Board, International Ethical Standards Board, that is called ISBA. So we have all this International Ethical Standard Boards for accountants under the aegis of IFAC. So being a member of IFAC, we need to comply with all those codes which are issued by ISBA. So whenever ISBA issues anything, it would be automatically applicable to all of us. Automatically applicable to all of us. So now the problem arises that when I have signed my form with ICI as a membership form with ICI, I signed that I'll be abide by all the rules and regulations made by the ICI, wherein I did not say anything about the international rules. But Chartered Accountants Act 1949 clearly mentions that every member of the institute is abide by all the rules and regulations and provisions and circulars and notifications which are issued by ICI. So that would be applicable to all of them. So now, important is that ICAI's council has issued these international code as their guideline. So it is duty of every member to follow those international codes also. If you go to international code, you will amazed to see that this international code has a major chunk as provisions for members in industry. Right now, members in industry are of opinion that code of ethics is not applicable to them. It is not affecting them because they are in service. But if you see the volume 1, you will come to a conclusion that, boss, more and more provisions which are relating to code of ethics, they are explained from the point of view of persons who are in service. So persons who are in service are not free from code of ethics. And this new code of ethics which came in 2019 having more severe impact on them rather than on person who is in service. So now the point is, if this is volume 1 and it is applicable to every member who is in practice, who is in service, so those who are in service are also required to comply with that particular code of conduct which is contained in volume number 1. Then comes volume number 2. Volume number 2 contains all the do's, all the don'ts which are there in Chartered Accountants Act 1949. So all the do's, all the don'ts which are contained in Chartered Accountants Act 1949, they are under the Code of Ethics. Code of Ethics is regulated by the council, which has been recently reconstituted. So this particular council includes 32 democratically elected members, which we have recently elected. And then they contain 8 members, which are nominated from central government. So 8 members are nominated from central government, while 32 members have been democratically elected. Out of these, there are certain committees which are required to be formed. One committee is known as Board of Discipline. One is known as Disciplinary Committee. To regulate this code, we have 2 committees with us. One is called Board of Discipline. Another one is known as Disciplinary Committee. Board of Discipline handles minor offenses, while disciplinary committee deals with major offenses. Now, what are the minor offenses and what are the major offenses? When we are talking about minor offenses means those offenses which are described in part first, part second, part third, and part fourth of the first schedule to section 22 of Chartered Accountants Act. We have section 22 in place in Chartered Accountant Act, which defines professional and other misconduct. It defines that there are two kinds of misconducts. One is called professional misconduct, one is called other misconduct. Means if chartered accountant is guilty of professional misconduct or other misconduct, the disciplinary directorate has power to raise inquiry against the chartered accountant. Now, important is that what do you mean by professional misconduct or other misconduct? Professional misconduct means all the do's, all the acts or omission, all the acts or all the omissions which are there, all the acts, all the omissions which are described in part first, second, and third of the first schedule and part first and second of the second schedule. There are two schedules to the Chartered Accountant Act 1949. There is the first schedule, there is the second schedule. The first schedule contains 4 parts, 1, 2, 3, and 4. While 1, 2, 3 are professional misconduct, and the fourth one is known as other misconduct. On the other hand, the second schedule has again 3 parts. Part 1, part 2 known as professional misconduct, and part 3 is known as other misconduct. So as far as other misconduct is concerned, any act or omission which is given in part 4 of the first schedule and part 3 of the second schedule will be treated as professional misconduct. While other misconduct means part 4th of the first schedule and part 3rd of the second schedule. So professional misconduct means 1, 2, 3 of the first schedule and 1 and 2 of the second schedule, while 4 of the first schedule and 3rd of the second schedule will be treated as other misconduct. So categorically they have made it. Now you will ask me, that sir, what is this other misconduct? Professional misconduct, it's okay. We'll see later on. But what exactly this other misconduct means? See, under the part 4 of the first schedule, they said, if a chartered accountant found to be guilty of professional misconduct under this part 4, so when he will become guilty under this part 4, if he has been convicted by court for an offense not more than 6 months. So if you have been convicted for an offense, any offense, civil offense, any offense for not more than 6 months, then it will be called as other misconduct. Or if you have done anything which brings disrepute to the profession, that would be treated as other misconduct. Now let me tell you that other misconduct is a misconduct which may not be resulting from any of the professional activities. any of the professional activities. Even if it is not out of professional activities, it would be a misconduct. Your EMI check bounced. The bank wrote letter to a chartered accountant that, sir, how is your member? Such member is unable to pay the debts on time. He is not respecting his commitments. Now, this will be said as bringing disrepute to the profession. This would be said as bringing disrepute to the profession. कि आपने profession को disrepute कर दिया. A chartered accountant has been allegedly found culprit of domestic violence. His wife filed an FIR in nearby Kotwali that she has been victim of domestic violence by a chartered accountant. And they found it right also. They wrote to ICI that he has been found to be involved in domestic violence. That would again be said as what? Professional misconduct. So that is called the other misconduct because it is bringing disrepute to the profession. Commissioner of Income Tax wrote to ICI that your member has malafidely produced the information to us relating to his client. Kindly look into the matter. That would also be treated as what? Other misconduct. So ICAI is not only empowered towards you regarding professional misconduct, they can come to you for other misconducts also. So whenever we are in practice, we are subject to any misconduct, whether it is professional or whether it is other. Now I would like to have your comments that what topic, there are so many topics under Code of Ethics, what topic you want me to explain or throw light upon that particular topic so that it will be helpful for me to guide you all on those topics which are of most relevant as far as your perception is concerned. So can I have from your side on chat what kind of topic should I first include in my discussion? Any point which you need to be emphasized by me relating to professional or other misconduct or any confusion relating to Code of Ethics, you can straightforward throw it to me. I'll be more than happy to guide you according to your priorities. Otherwise, I have my own set of principles which I'm going to deliberate before you. I'm waiting to have response in the chat box. Anything you need. Okay. Then no problem. I will sum up everything according to my priorities. Let's start. And meanwhile, if you think that you need more clarity on any topic, we would cover the same. Now there is part first to the first schedule. Before that, section 2, subsection 2 says that what kind of services a chartered accountant should not give. So let me come to the point. What kind of services a chartered accountant cannot perform? So dear members, a chartered accountant in practice cannot give portfolio management services. He can give portfolio advices, but he cannot give portfolio management services. Even to his existing clients, he cannot give any kind of professional, any kind of portfolio management services, even to existing clients also, you cannot give. Okay. You cannot become broker to the public. You cannot become NRI fund manager. You cannot give cash collection services. You cannot give insurance agency services. You can be insurance broker. Let me clarify you. There is a difference between you can become broker as an insurance broker, but you cannot be an insurance agent. What is insurance broker, by the way? Insurance broker means my client comes to me and asks me, sir, please suggest the best insurance company for my general insurance. I said, let me call quotations from all the companies and let me determine the terms and conditions, what they are offering to you. Let me analyze them. And then we will decide to whom the business has to be given. So I called quotations from various insurance companies. I discussed with them upon the policy they are giving. And I'm doing everything over that for analyzing that. And then I come to a conclusion that this insurance company should be engaged for my client. Now I want from that insurance company a kind of brokerage for the business which I have been given to them. Is it allowed to me? Yes. Yes, it is allowed. But you cannot become insurance agent. That insurance company is saying you to chase a client for insurance. We cannot do that. So that is the first thing which was there. Now comes, can we give management consultancy services? Yes, we can give management consultancy services to non-audit client, because audit client should not be served for management consultancy services, because you all know we have section 144 under Companies Act 2013, where it clearly mentions that a chartered account, that an auditor of the company cannot provide following services, and that management consultancy services is also there. So it is very important that the person who is auditor of the company should not involve himself into any of the services which are given under section 144. So we can give management services, but only to non-audit client. That is very important. If you have any question relating to this, you can ask right now. Now, the point is that can we, to what extent we can give GST assistance to our client, income tax assistance to our audit client. See, sir, if we are auditing, an entity, in that case, we should be independent. We should be independent of various things. We should be independent of various things. It means we should be independent of self-review threat. We should be independent of self-advocacy threat. We should be independent of familiarity threat. We should be, so there are various threats which are attached with our independence. So we should be avoiding ourselves into such a situation where a conflict of threat arises. So in such case, if there is a conflict of threat, we should not accept such an assignment. Like management consultancy services. If suppose someone comes and calls us to give him services relating to actuarial services, relating to valuation services, valuation for securities, shares and all. If suppose the same client to whom we are giving the valuation services comes to us and says that please do conduct audit for me, conducting audit of that figure which we have arrived through our own valuation, that would generate the self-review threat, and which is not advisable. To remove that self-review threat, we have designed section 144 under Companies Act. So whenever we are conducting audit, we need to take care of this. Whenever we are doing any management consultancy service, we need to check out this, whether that is creating a self-review threat.
Friends, keep on waiting as the speaker is joining again. There is some technical issue at the speaker's end. Kindly wait for a few minutes. Friends, as the speaker is joining in few minutes, there's some network issue at his end. I'd like to again inform you that all the videos which you are seeing at ACA platform will be available to you. On our YouTube channel. So whenever you get time, do connect us at our YouTube channel. And friends, we at ACA believe in becoming your digital learning association. So anyone who is interested to become the member of ACAE, do share a ping or visit our website and fill the form over there to become the member of ACAE. We are waiting for our speaker to join within a minute, as there has been some internet issue at his end and there was a disconnection. So just bear with us for a few minutes. Friends, please bear with us for a few minutes.
Hello.
Yes, sir, you're perfectly there.
Yeah. There was a connection error from Airtel.
No issues, sir. Carry on.
So we were talking about the um, misconduct. So where I was talking that chartered accountant in practice cannot give certain kind of services. Then comes if he can give certain kind of services. So first thing comes in our mind that how should we create our own association? Should I go for proprietorship concern, or should I go for partnership, or can I have a multidisciplinary partnership firm, or can we have can we give management consultancy services through this particular corporate form of practice where we can become directors. So there are n number of ways how we can create our interfaces. So now I am talking about creating interfaces. How should we create interface? Can I do so that in Indore I have my suppose I have my own firm Asim Trivedi and Associates, and I want to be I want my presence in Kolkata also. So I said, Vivek bhai, do one thing. You just hang my board also besides your board, and become my one of my collection center, or become one of my service desk. So is it possible for a chartered accountant in practice in Kolkata to become a service desk or a service node of another chartered accountant in Indore? Can I allow any person in Kolkata to practice in my name? Or is it possible for Vivek bhai to open his firm in Indore in my office, and can I act on behalf of Vivek bhai? So this is called allowing a person to practice in his own name. The Chartered Accountants Act 1949, clause 1 of the part first of the first schedule clearly mentions that I cannot allow a person to practice in my name unless such person is also a chartered accountant in practice. So Vivek bhai is chartered accountant in practice, myself is chartered accountant in practice. So can we have this kind of thing? No, sir. They further say that he must be a chartered accountant in practice and either my partner or my employee. So either Vivekji will become my partner, or myself become Vivekji's partner, or Vivekji becomes my employee. Then only I can allow Vivekji to practice in my name at Kolkata. So if I want a person, a member in practice in Kolkata or any eastern city, that he can practice in my name, in that case, he must be either my partner or he must be either my employee. Then only it is possible. Otherwise, it is not possible. So that is known as clause number 1 of the part first of the first schedule, which allows us to expand ourselves through a network of either partners or through a network of either employees who are having certificate of practice. So now a question arises: is it possible for a chartered accountant in practice to have an employment under a another chartered accountant in practice, yes, we can have that. But for that, we need to get special permission from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Mind it very carefully. If a chartered accountant in practice want to be an employee of another chartered accountant in practice, mind it very carefully that he must have obtained specific permission from ICAI in this regard. Then only, otherwise not. Then only, otherwise not. Now comes, let me don't have partner, but let me give some kind of sharing or some kind of brokerage or some kind of commission or some kind of sharing to other persons who can give me business profession. So let me associate it with me. Certain persons on commission basis, on brokerage basis, on sharing basis, who can bring business for me. Can I do this? Is it possible? So, sir, what is that? Clause number 2 of the part first of the first schedule clearly mentions that a chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he pays or allows, agrees to pay or agrees to allow, directly or indirectly, any share, any commission, any brokerage from his professional fees or profit to any person who is not his partner, his retired partner, member of the institute, or legal representative of deceased partner. Primarily, they allowed 4 persons with whom I can go with, only 4 persons with whom I can go with what? So important is, now important is that when we are talking about all this 4 things, that I can share my fees with my partner, yes. I can share my fees with the retired partner, yes. I can share fees with a person who is legal representative of deceased partner, yes. I can share my part of my fees with another chartered accountant, yes. We chartered accountant can pay referral fees to each other, no problem in that. But can I do the same thing with an advocate or a company secretary or a cost and works accountant, or can I have my fees, sharing of fees with an architect, a BTech, an actuary, an architect? Can I share my fees with these guys? Regulation 58A of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949 allows us to have sharing with all these 8 people. Who are these 8 people? Number 1, chartered accountant in practice. Number 2, retired partner. Number 3, existing partner. Number 4, legal representative of deceased partner. Then comes lawyer, company secretary, CWA, and then actuary and architect, and then BE, BTech and MBA. We have these 8 people with us with whom we can share and from whom we can receive, vice versa. So there can be an arrangement with all these forms, a form of chartered accountant, a form of company secretary, a form of CWA, a form of lawyer, a form of architect, a form of actuarial, or a form of MBAs or BE or BTech. We can share fees with them. They can share their fees with us. It is allowed. But is it possible that we can enter into partnership with them? Yes, we can enter into partnership with them also. No problem at all. We can enter into partnership with them. हम उनके साथ partnership में आ सकते हैं. Recently, this has been changed. We can have multidisciplinary partnership. I will give you a separate lecture on the modalities of multidisciplinary partnerships. That would be a bigger chapter, and we would have this. Someone raises hand. Can I have your query?
Yes.
Please. Yes, please.
Raj here. So my query is regarding investments of a CA firm. So
Can you raise your voice? I can't hear you.
One second. I am trying to.
Yeah, just increase the volume of your own.
Am I audible now?
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. So my query is that can a CA firm make investment into other CA firms? Part one. And
No. Just a minute. There was a glitch. Again, can you say?
can a CA firm make investments into other CA firms, like have a subsidiary kind of a relationship? Or can we make an SPV for other businesses? So let's say when it comes to investments and investment advisory, directly CAs cannot, let's say, have a wealth management firm because of the COP restrictions. But the functions are so interlinked that you cannot separate advisory and wealth management services. So SEBI says distribution is something, advisory is something. So for that purpose, can a CA firm make a subsidiary which is into let's say distribution of investment products? Can a CA firm do that? Or can a CA firm make investments which may not be practicing into?
It is but obvious. If this question comes from Kolkata, I can understand. Because yes, there are so many public, vehicles, investment vehicles are required. So let me clarify you one thing, sir, that in our Chartered Accountants Act 1949, we can have our own firm which conducts the audit. Under Companies Act 2013, under Section 141, subsection 1, it has been clearly mentioned that a firm which is conducting audit of a company should have majority of the partners as practicing chartered accountants. So we can have chartered accountant in practice in majority of the firm. In majority of the firm, we can have chartered accountant practice, and that can give audit services.
Okay.
That can give management consultancy services also, but not to that company or its subsidiary company or its holding company because of the restrictions which are imposed by Section 144. Now, your question is, can we have a separate firm which can work as investment advisory services? Sir, investment advisory services we can give. There's no harm in it. But neither we can become direct selling agent of any of the mutual funds or any of the asset management company or any of the, that is banned for us.
Correct.
So even that particular thing cannot be done by our separate firm also. So we cannot become DS, we cannot become investment
Distributors.
kind of distributors. So we cannot have that particular thing, even if we have a separate firm. So
Understood.
if you want to have a separate firm, you can create an LLP. That is a limited liability partnership with other persons. But
Okay.
that particular firm cannot go beyond section 2, subsection 2 of the Chartered Accountants Act 1940.
Understood. Everything is closed.
So that is a point that we cannot drift ourselves to other domain because it is restricted by section 2, subsection 2. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. So also one more query. If we
Yeah.
are giving investment advisory, how is the regulation with respect to ICAI and SEBI? Is there an overlap? Because SEBI says that all investment advisory is under my purview. So
Yeah. If we want to give investment advisory services to our existing clients, if we want to give investment advisory service, investment advisors to our existing client, there is no harm in giving it because we are the chartered accountant in practice and we can give these services to our client, and SEBI has allowed us. SEBI has categorically allowed chartered accountants and company secretaries to give advisory services to their existing client, but we cannot have prospective client on the basis of that because for that we need to have license from SEBI.
okay.
That is.
So I cannot market myself. CA in practice cannot market themselves as rendering investment advisory. Only to existing clients we can offer.
We can advertise ourselves under clause number 7, even for all services which we can give. So if we can give service under section 2, subsection 2, so we can well market ourselves under the in website. We can write about ourselves in Facebook or in your Instagram or your social media account by following the guidelines which are made by the institute under the code of ethics. We can specifically mention what kind of services we can give. As far as advertisement is concerned, we can give advertisement also, but limited to that extent is allowed by the clause number 7. That is correct. Okay. Nice to have a query which generates some momentum in myself also. I was worried about that how many of you are listening to me, but now I can understand that so many persons are listening quite carefully for that. Thank you. Now, important is in this virtual mode, you cannot see how much interest the participants are having. So that is a point where we become blind that whether the audience is interacting with me with the same zeal and zest with which I am interacting with them. Thank you very much. Let's move. So an interface can be created. A multidisciplinary partnership firm can be created. We can have all these things with us. No problem at all. So important is that clause number 1, clause number 2, clause number 3, clause number 4, they all are providing us strict guideline that if we want to develop our practice, we can develop our practice with all these persons. Then comes clause number 5 is also there about how we can get business. So we can get business with this all. In between, we have networking guidelines also. We can develop a network of firms. We have to get the network registered with ICAI, and we can become a member of that particular registered network without entering into partnership. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 firms can develop their network. Firms can develop their network, no problem in that. That can be developed through firms network. So that networking guideline, if we follow, We can have a very good network of various firms across the city, across the nation, across the globe. We can have. Now, there comes another question. How should I get the client? So clause number 6 clearly mentions that no one can solicit a client. We cannot solicit a client. Clause number 6 clearly says a chartered accountant in practice shall be deemed to be guilty of professional misconduct if he solicit client or professional work. Though soliciting professional work from another chartered accountant in practice is allowed. Mind it very carefully. One chartered accountant in practice can always ask other chartered accountant in practice to give him certain kind of assignments if he has. And there is no misconduct in writing a letter to another chartered accountant that if you have some work from me, for me, you can give it to me. That is allowed at all, always allowed. Next. I can solicit work through what? Responding to tenders. Now, very, very important discussion I am talking about, and that is about the tenders. Can we fill tenders? Yes, we can always fill tenders, provided that tender, if it is related to a work which belongs to exclusive domain of chartered accountant. For example, company audit. Company audit is exclusive domain of a chartered accountant in practice. Exclusive domain of chartered accountant in practice. So if a company calls for a tender of chartered accountants, chartered accountant will not going to respond that tender unless and until minimum fees has not been quoted in that particular tender. So अगर एक tender सिर्फ chartered accountant in practice के लिए issue हो रहा है, because वही वो काम कर सकते हैं, only them can perform the work. That particular tender can be responded by chartered accountants, वो भी तब if there will be minimum fees prescribed in the tender. Sir, a tender came of a bank for an appointment of auditor for bank under Banking Regulation Act, and they have not given minimum fees. We will not going to respond to such tender. If they prescribe minimum fees, we will going to respond such tender. Next, what if the tender has been called only from chartered accountant, but the work can be done either by CA or CS or CW or anyone else? Institute's guideline is very, 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 very clear. If the task or if the assignment regarding which the tender has been issued can be done either by chartered accountant or by other professional also, chartered accountant is free to respond such tender, even if minimum fees has not been prescribed. Even if minimum fees has not been prescribed, we can respond to such tender. So it is very categorically classified that tender can be filled by a chartered accountant, provided that tender is not exclusive tender. That tender is not an exclusive tender. So in that case, if it is an exclusively tender for chartered accountant, there must be minimum fees. And if there is no minimum fees, then definitely it is going to, if there is no minimum fees, definitely we cannot respond to such tender. But the service which can be given by chartered accountant as well as others, and that particular tender comes, we should respond to such tender even if no minimum fees is given. Now our fraternity is very smart. Once in a seminar, it happened in Gurgaon. Gurgaon chartered accountant had asked me, sir, you said minimum fees if not prescribed, we should not respond to tender. A tender came in Delhi NCR, and in that NCR tender, the minimum fees was prescribed, and we all filled the tender. But tender had not been opened in our favor. Tender had been allotted to someone else. We applied for R2I, and right to information, when we applied and we got the information from that particular authority, we surprised to note that the person who got the tender had quoted the fees less than the fees minimum quoted, less than the minimum quoted fees. Now point is it a misconduct? Sir, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India issued a guideline that if minimum fees is quoted, you should respond to tender. By itself, it implies that your quotation must be more than the fees. And if it is not more than the fees, it would again be treated as what? That would again be treated as misconduct. So it is very, very important that we cannot respond to a tender below the minimum fees. So that is given under clause number 6. Now, so many times we are witnessing solicitation of client, that to indirect solicitation of client through electronic mode, social media, YouTube channel, Instagram channel, Facebook page, Telegram website. Now clause number 6 and clause number 7 have clearly having guidelines relating to such solicitation. रोजमर्रा में हमारे मोबाइल में ढेर सारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप बने हुए हैं, और उन ढेर सारे व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप्स के अंदर ढेर सारे स्वयंभू टीचर्स भी जो जीएसटी पर, इनकम टैक्स पर अपनी तरफ से गाइडेंस देते रहते। मेरे सरी के लोग बहुत सारे लगभग। अब इंपॉर्टेंट ये कि क्या एक चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट सोशल मीडिया पर आकर लोगों को एजुकेट कर सकता है रिगार्डिंग जीएसटी, रिगार्डिंग इनकम टैक्स, रिगार्डिंग कंपनी लॉ, रिगार्डिंग शेयर मार्केट, regarding all or anything, whatever is required. Can someone do this? क्या वो ऐसा कर सकते? Yes, we can do that. But certain provisions are required to be complied with. First thing, your firm name should not appear. Very important. Your firm name should not appear in any of such videos. Such videos should not solicit your firm. Only your name could be there, but your firm name could not be there. Educate people, no problem. पढ़ेगा इंडिया, आगे बढ़ेगा इंडिया, मत टेंशन लो, आप पढ़ाओ, लेकिन फर्म नाम वहां नहीं लगाना है. Asim Trivedi can have his own channel, his own Facebook page and everything, where he can distribute knowledge. But that should not contain the firm's name. And if it contains the firm's name, that would be treated as solicitation. One has to be very clear. We are sending WhatsApp updates. If we are sending WhatsApp updates in groups of chartered accountants, there is nothing be treated as soliciting, because I am sharing this information within a closed group of chartered accountants. So if I am sharing it in the closed groups of chartered accountants, I don't think that there is any misconduct. But if in Kolkata there is a Jute Vyapari Association which requires some updation about it, and if that particular Jute Vyapari Association, in that particular business association's group, I have joined as a chartered accountant, and daily I am updating all the members along with my firm name, what are the provisions of GST and how they are applicable and all that, that would be treated as solicitation. That would be treated as solicitation. उसे solicitation कहा जाएगा. That is solicitation. So solicitation is not at all allowed in any form under clause number 6 and clause number 7. Clause number 7 talks about the professional attainments. We cannot have visiting cards in which we can print that I am GST expert or I am income tax expert or I am even. A doctor can put nephrologist, urologist, cardiologist, but as a chartered accountant, we cannot put in our visiting card the professional attainments like I am expert in IFRS or expert in GST or expert. No, we cannot. It's not allowed. Clause number 7 says so. Then comes very interesting clause number 8. How should I communicate to my predecessor? If a work comes to me, the first thing we all know that we need to communicate to the predecessor. Sometimes it is found that members become careless when the appointment is done by RBI impanelment. Mind it very carefully. Whomsoever appointing you, be it is a government authority, be it is board of director, be they are shareholder. Whomsoever appointing you as an auditor, whomsoever appointing you as an auditor, your first reaction should be, you should write a letter to predecessor that this particular entity came and want to appoint me as an auditor. Do you have any professional or other reason for me for not to accept such an appointment? Kindly revert within 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, depending on the distance between the two parties. If it is local Kolkata, then we would say 3 days. If it outside outskirts of Kolkata, I would say 3 days, 5 days. If it is out of West Bengal, I must say 15 days. So it all depends on the fact and circumstances of each case, that what should be the reasonable time. So I will write in the letter that, do you have any professional or other reason for me not to accept such an appointment? If your answer doesn't come to me within 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, 15 days, we will assume that you have no objection. Send this letter through registered acknowledgement post so that a proof of delivery will be with you. And if proof of delivery is with you, there is no harm. You have communicated. Even if he did not respond for 7 days, 3 days, 5 days, whatever mentioned in the letter, your communication is over. There is no need for NOC. I'm saying you, there is no need for NOC. It is important that we have communicated and he did not revert within such time. Communication of NOC is there. Now comes, what if he responds? He responded, kindly do not accept the appointment because my removal was not up to mark. Okay. If your removal is not up to mark, then the things are over. I cannot accept the appointment. If your removal is not up to mark, then your removal is not appropriate, then how can I become appointed as an auditor? So sorry, I will not accept the appointment. You are right. Second, he says my undisputed audit fee is pending. And such an undisputed audit fees which is pending without any reason. You want to accept the appointment, accept it. But let me clarify you that my previous year fees has not been received. And if it is, we cannot accept the appointment. We should entertain his objection, and we should ask client to first pay fees to him. Then only we will start the audit. And if he does not do so, sir, that would become a misconduct, a major misconduct under second part. That would become a major misconduct in the second part, not first part. I'm talking about major misconduct in the second part. That is most important. Will be a major offense. If suppose client says that you have not been, the client says that I was about to give him a qualification in financial statement. I was including in my audit report a qualification to the financial statement. So what qualification I was mentioning in the financial statement, whatever that is, as I was making in the financial statement. So that client said that if you are giving qualification, I am removing you, give me resignation, I am appointing someone else. So I have resigned and now you are joining, but mind it, my resignation has been done because I have some issues with the client. And the major issue was that I was about to issue a qualification. Would you like to have that or not? It's your prerogative. So now what I will do? See, he was about to giving qualification. I will explain to the client that if this is the case, then if as his decision was giving qualification, it might happen that my decision will always, my decision may also coincide with his decision and I might have given qualified. So don't, means clarify this to client that even if you have changed the chartered accountant, the result may be same. Usually it will be same. If still client is happy with you, no sir, अब उनसे बात इतनी खराब हो गई कि अब तो ऑडिट आप ही कर दो, क्वालिफिकेशन डालना तो भी आप डालो, लेकिन हम उनको तो क्वालिफिकेशन नहीं डालने देंगे. Okay, then you can accept the audit. No problem in it. Now, is it possible to get this clause 8 fulfilled through electronic mode? Yes. Under the charter amendment, under this particular act, Code of Ethics, new Code of Ethics has amended and included in it that a chartered accountant in practice may communicate to the predecessor through his registered email address last updated to ICA. You can send communication, you can have communication with predecessor through email, provided that email has been made to registered address of the client, which is registered email address with the client, with the registered email address of the predecessor registered with ICA, and let him respond that I have received this mail. If he had received this mail, you send this mail to him, definitely he is receiving that mail. That's it. That is also a valid mode of communication. No harm in it. We can do that. Sometimes it happens that in some of the cases, we found that bank audit comes to us, Gram Panchayat audit comes to us, or some government department audit comes to us with a time limit. You have to finish within 20 days. You have to finish within 30 days. You have to finish within 25 days. And the time which is going to be consumed in sending and receiving the confirmation, in that case, if it is required to be accept immediately the appointment, we can conditionally accept the appointment. What I'm saying is very important. We can conditionally accept the appointment. What is called this? Conditionally accept the appointment. We can conditionally accept the appointment means we can, in the terms of acceptance, we can say that we are accepting the appointment provided the predecessor has no objection. We have communicated with the predecessor. He did not yet revert it. But if he has some sound reason for not taking of us this particular assignment, so this is conditional acceptance. You can conditionally accept the assignment and start working from the same day. These all amendments have been made in Code of Ethics 2019. These were not there previous. These are here given quite nicely. Now, if you have any query regarding this or regarding any of the topics which I have covered, I'd love to answer those queries.
Friends, whatever query you have, kindly write in the chat box. It will be better for all.
Yeah, it would be better if we have it.
I am enabling the chat box for you. You can write in the chat box. In the meantime, sir, there is an important topic which people keep on asking. You have said about soliciting. if again you can deep dive in the factor of posting about any attainment or sharing videos on social media.
Yeah.
So
See, if
how is
I
it
have
allowed or not allowed?
if I have been now recently, we have finalized in Indore. We had a group from Ethical Standard Board, which was discussing the FAQs on use of social media by chartered accountant. A separate FAQs have been prepared, and day before yesterday, the draft has been finalized. Within 3-4 days, you will see all those FAQs. They are in detail explaining the issues relating to such. But as far as professional attainment is concerned, if suppose if suppose you have been awarded by West Bengal government regarding certain things. Now, if you want to share the joy, if you want to share this success, if you want to share this, can you share it on your Facebook profile? Yes. Can you share it on your WhatsApp profile? Yes. Can you share it on your Instagram post? Yes. Can you show it on your website? So when it is allowed to show at all places, it might be allowed at website also. Once FAQ comes, you can include it. So anything which is related to public importance, which has been awarded by government, and which brings repute, which highlights, which calls for laurel to ICAI, then all such things are allowed. No problem at all. Allowed. But other professional attainments, like you have been awarded privately by some private organization, that would not be there. That is it. Another query came that can a CA run coaching classes for CA and MBA and commerce student. You can have private tuitions. You can give coaching through coaching classes. You can have all this. General permission has been given to you, provided your direct teaching hours should not be more than 25 hours in a week. Your direct teaching hours should not be more than 25 hours in a week. And secondly, you need to observe all the advertising guidelines when you are soliciting your student. You cannot have your photograph on your classes poster, and those classes posters cannot be stick over all auto rickshaws and all thelas and all the things what normally coaching classes does. So we have to maintain the repute of the profession. For that, ICAI disallows chartered accountants who are in practice and running coaching. For them, it is specific guidelines has been issued that you should desist to take up those publicity campaigns which normally a coaching class does have. So we should not have that particular kind of thing. Rest we can have, no problem at all.
So you said about social media, there is some more, although the FAQs are coming and it's in pipeline, there always this, now there is a new trend. Suppose a Christmas was there, so we celebrated Christmas in office, we celebrated Holi in office, we celebrated Diwali in office, or else we recognize our articles attending rank or passing the CA final examination. Or I am into a GST practice, sharing the GST seminars, pictures and all. So, but because this has become a trend, so I think we wanted more clarification on those areas as well. And secondly, you just now said about running a tuition center. How to use, or many of the firms now, because we have to fight in the competitive environment, and many of the firms are looking for international tie-ups and networks. They say that they are partner firm of the network. The network own main company is marketing right, left, up and down. And then we are saying that the coaching classes we have on, we cannot market. So there's a confusion in the market to many people that why not become an affiliate, or institute allows nowadays making affiliates. or start your own network and pan India Tech Associate, and you make a branding of the associate, they can write their network firm, but in visiting firm, visiting card, they write the partner of XYZ. So if you can elaborate on those.
Yeah. See, we can become a network, part of a network, but we cannot become part of a BNI. Let me clarify you. I cannot become part of a network which is not registered with ICA. Be it is for filing of income tax returns, or be it is a business network for anything else. Because business networks are not, when they are not registered with Chartered Accountants Act, they might not be under the purview of the Chartered Accountants Act 1949, and they can violate all guidelines relating to advertising and all. So ICAI clearly mentions that if a chartered accountant firm joins a network which is not registered with ICAI, it would be misconduct under clause number 2, clause number 3, and clause number 6 of the Chartered Accountants Act. You cannot share fees, because if you become part of the network, so whatever they are, suppose I become part of a network which files returns for the clients. So whatever fees they are charging from the client, they are taking their cut and they are paying me. So that again violates clause number 2. Second thing, I'm entering into partnership kind of thing with those who are not allowed. So 2, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and they are advertising handsomely. So in that case, they said that you should not be allowed to become part of those network. Like that also, the same thing will be applicable in the coaching classes also. If I am running a coaching class in Indore, myself is bound by various guidelines. So if I'm not owner of the coaching class, I have joined one coaching class, and that coaching class teaches students. They are publicizing. They might publicize that it is their business. They are not publicizing me. They are not publicizing me as myself. So that is a big problem, that they are not publicizing me. They are publicizing themselves. So that publicity is okay with that. There is no point in that.
Thanks a lot, sir. Sir, whether we can get any list of how many networks are registered with ICI, because there are many networks who are working in India, and most of them are not registered. Still, but it's a different aspect, because we should ask to the council then that whether no action has been taken. And secondly, you told a very good point on uh, management consultancy services. Recently, there was a very good judgment of NEFRA, which was trying to define the management consultancy service. You are doing a payroll job for your network is doing the payroll job for the client, and you are doing assurance work for the same client. So internationally also, the assurance is said to be you have to bifurcate the assurance. You cannot become the part of the network also for assurance maker and checker. You can't do an income tax representation for the client if you are a auditor of the client. All these factors are there, which obviously again is many say it is again to survive in this market, you have to join hands. You cannot be a proprietorship concern, because there are many things and you have to specialize on those areas. So rightly said, sir, in business management consultancy, again, there is a very good NEFRA judgment just for the participants. Also, you should go through the NEFRA judgment, and many places it has been referred also in various journals of BCAs as well as ACA also 2 months back. So there's one more aspect which is always round to the mind of practical problem. Suppose I and my wife are a partner of a firm, and we also own a property which we are owning in a private limited company, and we are directors over there. 2 directors are there, both are directors, and we are inform also whether it is allowed, because executive director, how to determine whether we are AD or not, because we 2 people are only there taking rent from the firm for the property. So this becomes so difficult, but it is not it's a hypothetical case, but it becomes difficulty for many of us, because we have properties in private companies where we are director, and then we are partner in the firm. So COP is at a risk. Many things so. So if you can enlighten on that.
See, I can become director in any of the private limited company. I can become promoter of a private limited company. I can become member of a private limited company. I can become shareholder of a private limited company. No harm in it. As far as I am not a whole-time director in that company. If you are a whole-time director in that company or an executive director in that company, that will become violation of clause number 11 of the Chartered Accountant Act. So you can own a private limited company where you and your wife can be member, they can be directors. If you want to be directors over there, become a non-executive director. If you want more directors to handle that company, appoint an additional director. Appoint an additional director who will take care of all the signing and all take decisions and whole-time decisions of that. So that is always allowed to become a non-executive director of a company. But if you want to become whole-time director or managing director of the company, it is allowed only when you are having a corporate form of practice. Then only you will be allowed to become managing director or whole-time director.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thanks a lot. So recently there was also a clarification by institute that earlier it was an understanding that member in practice cannot invest in derivatives. But now I think it has been allowed that the derivatives transaction can be done by members in practice, and it will not be it will not affect the COP. So if you can enlighten the members on those lines.
See, derivative transactions, if we are entering into as a practicing chartered accountant, you know, derivative transactions are quite short-term transactions and all that. What is the basis behind this particular point is that if a chartered accountant in practice has been allowed to enter into such kind of daily transactions and enormous transactions which are going to happen, the scene would be that from 9:30 to 3:30 there will not be any work in the chartered accountant's office, and the practice will always start from 3:30 onwards. And see, dealing with the securities and dealing with all the entities, some of the entities might be our clients, or some of the entities might be where we are intermediary in the market. So in light of that, clause number 11 was restricting that you should not deal with the derivatives, you should not deal with the intraday trading and all that. So as far as derivatives are concerned, if they are maturing and if they are on maturity, we are having call options, put options, and on maturity, if we are getting all the things, so it will not be treated as a daily or routine activity. But if we are having call and short options and put options and all that, and we are cancelling those derivatives frequent, often, and we are means consistently engaged in some kind of activity, it is going to be disallowed always. Even if it is intraday trading, why to go for the derivative trading? When I'm just giving you an example that a multi-purpose empanelment forms, which has been filled by every one of us, and if our income tax return is attached with that, and that income tax return is showing the income from other sources and income from derivatives and options and all that, and you all know that income, for the purpose of income tax purpose, this future and options and all, they will not be treated as speculative income, and they will be treated as non-speculative income. So they will fall under the business profession and all that. And if that particular income of that business profession or other sources which goes beyond your professional receipts, so definitely there is going to be a question that you have been involved in separate kind of activity under clause number 11. So we need to take care that our exposure to the share market or our exposure to the other security market or capital market must be limited to an extent so that it cannot override the objectivity of our profession.
But recently there was a clarification by ICI in the month of August 2021 in regard to derivative, where I think they divide only the commodity transaction. They are saying if you can transact in equity, so derivative of the equity is allowed. Correct?
Equity derivatives they are allowing, but even I am saying that if you are going
go
with
to that extent,
intraday and excessive trading is still under the question. Commodity derivatives we are not allowed. We are allowed only for the equity derivatives.
Perfect, sir. Anyone having any question? We are running short of time. Can
Just one.
CA have the name on the nameplate with a lawyer at home and or office keeping fund, etc., as prescribed by ICAI?
Can a CA have name on nameplate with a lawyer at home and or office, keeping in front, etc., as prescribed by ICAI? So common board. Why to have a common board? And common board means board which is not merged, I must say. If it is demarked with the line, we cannot go in such kind of intricacies of that particular nameplate, that if the nameplate is quite section wise and having different colors on a same board, we can, even on a mezzanine floor of our own apartment, we have all names. So there is no point in that, that if you have a common nameplate with a lawyer at home or any office. But yes, nameplate suggestions are there, and they are regarding that, how they go with that. So there's no point in it. You can have nameplate as far as it is within the norms of Chartered Accountants Act. We have 3x2 board. We cannot have a light board. We cannot have illuminated board. We cannot have two boards simultaneously in the same building. We cannot have one board at here and one board of firm in at residence and one board of firm at office. We have so many, and in hilly areas we have so many provisions regarding the signboard also. So we are not going into that. It's a common thing that share on an office premise has been shared by 2-3 professionals. They have a common board and they are sharing the board. There's no problem at all.
Asim sir, there are lots of restrictions for photograph on website, but
Yeah.
as of now, there is no restriction on photograph on social media, and all sorts of photographs, glossy photographs are allowed, and people are using that for their marketing. They can call it pull marketing, push marketing. It's on the own aspect. But yes, one more thing I would add on to what you said. Every day we keep on getting a call that to register as a CA form on Just Dial or something. We can have free listing, but paid listing is not allowed, I suppose.
See, you can be enlist yourself with all Ask Me services. No problem in that. If they are charging something registration fees, we can also give them. We cannot give them fees for promoting us.
Pushing the name.
We cannot pay them fees for promotion. So that is allowed. There is no point. And as far as the second thing which you mentioned earlier, that was displaying the photographs on website and all social media and all, within 3-4 days you are getting FAQs in which this element, in this particular anomaly has been removed, that everywhere. Matlab, I'm just giving you that our group had opined that having photograph on Facebook, having photograph on WhatsApp, having photograph on everywhere, we can have photographs on website, but those photographs should not be displaying something on in a magnificent manner, or I must say highlighting manner. You can have photographs relating to your office, relating to your infrastructure, relating to your office celebration. You can have photo gallery in your website where you can put, they will be on pull mode, not on push mode. So we are coming with all such guidelines within this month. I must say within next year, next first month, we will have these guidelines on floor.
Thanks a lot, sir. Asim sir, we have listened to many code of conduct session, and it becomes so gloomy that we hardly find anyone staying till end. And today we have 225 people still at till end. This shows the lucid way, the practical way with which we had the discussion today. And we are very fortunate to close this year, this month, with a topic on code of ethics, so that when we start the new year, we have fresh minds, fresh energy. And I was saying in the starting also that now we are talking about NFRA or disciplinary committee having non-CA as a head chairperson, who will be more like a lucky fakir. So we should abide by all the rules line by line, whether it's standards on audit or it's code of ethics. And when I say line by line, there may be that documentation should be there. There's always a scope of improvement. So something should be there, because something is better than nothing to protect us from code of law. So with this, I think we have got a very good insight. And now with this deliberation, if we go through back to our literature and we try to decode it, it would be very helpful for all the members who have attended today. And this will be also there on our YouTube channel, which has reached to at least 10,000 people. And we have 1,400 members with us at ACA. And we are very fortunate to have you in this fag end of the year. And our first speaker was saying that and you also started with the pressure of tax audit and pressure of return filing. Still, we have 250 people. We are fortunate that we had 250 people because we had Asim sir with us. So I would.
I'm wondering, as today morning call came and said that today evening we have this session. So I was wondering that how many people are going to join, because everyone is very much busy in filing the returns, and from Kashmir to Kanyakumari or from Mumbai to Kolkata, the clients are like same. They will come at the end. Today also in my office we have so many clients. बाहर एक मेले सरी का लगा हुआ है and चल रहे हैं काम बिल्कुल
ये है sir. And with this, I would request our member and treasurer of ACA, Neeraj sir, to give a formal vote of thanks to Asim sir. And we are very helpful again, and we thanks from bottom of heart that you joined us today at the last moment. Over to Neeraj Haroya ji.
Thank you very much, dear President, for giving me this opportunity. First of all, I would like to convey my thanks to CA Asim Trivedi ji, who joined all the way from Indore in this VCM. Sir, you rightly said that you were surprising on a very right note, but let me add over here the topic which you have discussed. I think this is more and more relevant to understand, because without understanding this, it is very difficult for us to sit in the office. So believe me, nowadays it's a matter of great discussion that if you are taking any other audit, if there is a situation of change in auditor, how to take no objection, how to use social media, so many questions our president also put in front of you. So I'm telling you honestly, sir, now it's become very easy to read tax, very easy to read Ind AS, very easy to read GST and all. But it's really become very difficult. And I'm telling you honestly, I'm sharing my experience that for reading code of ethics, I'm speaking to article who is going to appear in CA final this May attempt, because I'm telling you practically this incident happened 2 days back when for code of ethics I called her and discussed in detail, because I know we used to read this code of ethics only at the time when we have to appear in CA final exam.
Definitely.
So, but the kind of relevance, particularly for this entire code, has gained the momentum at this point of time, so nobody can ignore. So I think Vivek ji rightly said that the importance of this subject has made 220 people, and again we are getting benefit for out of this virtual mode, because everyone is sitting in their office and everyone is joining in this seminar, and they are doing their work, and they are also enjoying this beautiful deliberation. And in fact, I also joined a little bit delay at a later point of time, but the way you have explained each and every answer you have given, I think really this is going to be a milestone. And once again, we are very much thankful on behalf of ACA for your time and for your efforts, sir. And I think this kind of topic will also need future deliberation. So definitely, whenever we will look for you,
I love to speak on Caro 2020 soon after the March ending is there. We will have more and more discussions on Caro, because right now I'm working on that particular Caro, and I'm wondering that what kind of hell of responsibilities that particular Caro entrusted upon us. And now I'm requesting to ICI to reserve at least 10 hours for each branch for Caro. Otherwise, what we are going to sign, we cannot even imagine what they are asking us to sign.
Correct, sir.
Big problem is going to be there.
Fully agree, sir. ICI has made this to our compulsory to attend on this code of ethics, and I think that itself shows the relevance of the subject. And what you are suggesting is absolutely correct. Caro 20 is again going to be a very challenging task for all of us practicing CS. So, but nevertheless, sir, we are made to be accepting all the challenges. So
Yes, sir.
all the time we have to be ready with that. Then only people will always look for us. So that's the thing. So I thanks to you, and on behalf of ACA, we would like to present this e-memento to
Oh,
you.
thank
So
you.
this e-memento we have kept for our virtual mode, but definitely we wish to see you physically also.
And screenshot of this.
Sure,
We'll
sure,
send
sir,
you the
sure.
soft
Sir,
copy,
we
sir.
will
You
say,
can
we'll send you, sir.
get it
Yes,
printed and laminated, sir.
I have taken the screenshot of the same. So
Thank you very
I
much, sir.
saved it in my library, so I have received it.
Sure, sir,
Thanks
sure,
a
sure.
lot, sir.
This
Thanks a lot.
this will take your digital space, not your physical space.
Yeah, definitely.
So, and I also thanks to all participants at this very important junction. You all have joined, and in large number you have joined. And Vivek ji correctly told that at 8 p.m. still 211 people are there who are attending this session. So on behalf of ACA, we thanks to you. And in fact, once more will appeal that ACA is always organizing these kind of value addition seminars. So you can also visit our website. You can also inquire for our membership. Our membership forms are available with our office, and we always request all of you to be part of our all future events as well. So thank you very much who have joined from all across